if it wasn't for Canada, I wouldn't be off my medication today, like my anxiety and my antidepressants. I wrote a piece, and Kate and I like talked about it today, and just want to just share that. Like, I always talk about it. I put it on my social media. I am not ashamed to say that I am off medication 2.5 years after being on it for like nearly majority of my adult life, where I go into a doctor when I'm 12 with my parents who don't understand like how you're feeling, and he just goes, here, and writes a prescription what was meant to be for a 25-year-old, like antidepressants, and you're just, that's your life, that's your routine, that's what you do. You take a pill, that's it. And when I came over here, I was like running out of like my pills, like, so I had to obviously like try and go get like different pills, and I went to a doctor, and that's when he was like, he just like was like, I'm really sorry. And I was like, what? And he's like, how you feel, you've been just diagnosed, and you've been prescribed drugs that are probably after taking 20 years of your life when it comes to happiness. He was just like, you're after burying yourself in a routine now, and your emotions are so flipped, you need to get the balance back. And that's when he was like, let's do it. How do you feel about committing to halving your doses, go down? If you feel like you want to go back up in winter when it's darker and it's grayer, and a lot of people in Vancouver suffer from seasonal affective disorder, and I think we all do, and we just, maybe Irish people just pick it up as like bandwagon when they come over here, but it does affect us. And I said, yeah, sure. And we just half dosage down. It was like, he took it in very big steps, and it was like hard, and like you're moving over here, so you're meeting new people, and you're not sure like who you can talk to about what you're on and what you're going through. And these are your friends that you're meeting for the first time. They're strangers. You don't want to freak them out thinking like you might have a split personality or something. You know, you're trying to explain that you just don't feel well sometimes, and it's okay. And with the health system over here and the work side of things, you can always call in sick if you're not feeling sick. You don't have to be physically sick. You could be mentally sick, and you can just call in, and there's no stigma and there's no shame. I now to look back, I feel a little bit of shame about how I was just put on that, like, you know, it was also more robotic. I felt like, here, take this, you'll be fine. There was no option of going to talk to somebody. My parents can't afford that. Over here, like within weeks, I was seeing like a counselor for free, like, and that's everything that was given to me by my doctor through work with my like Manulife, my health benefits and work. And then the big day he came to me and was like, right, this is it. This is cold turkey. This is 3 hard months of you just not looking at a pill, not looking at melatonin, going and doing this. And it was a hard 3 months, but it was definitely worth it. And now I look back and I'm like, you know, if I was ever to go on medication again, obviously it would be like my last resort, because I found ways that I'm able to deal with it naturally. And I have routines, and I have like stuff that's able to snap me back. For example, whenever I have a panic attack at nighttime, my doctor advised me to get up and just do something so natural, like make a cup of tea. The kettle takes about 2 minutes, 20 seconds to boil. You just count it. You just get the tea bag, put it in, you sit there, and you can feel yourself just coming down off that panic of you waking up. And then when I always say, when I hear the kettle like click, it's like Inception. I'm back in the room, you know. I'm just like, I'm awake and I'm like, I can go back to bed, and it's all great. And you talked about earlier on, I can't remember who brought it up, about the Marie, it was you, about people looking to go on medication. I say to whoever's looking at this, go see a doctor. Definitely talk about your options. And if you feel that the doctor that you go to doesn't care, don't settle for that. Go find somebody that actually cares and commit to a program. Because if he wants you or she wants you to go and do something, it might not be medication. They might find a different alternative, and everybody is different. So never be ashamed. Talk about it. Spread the news. Let people know when you're off it. If you have to go back in on winter, don't worry about it. People skip in and out of, like, you know, antidepressants or like anxiety medication in winter, and it's okay.
I love hearing how you eventually had a really positive experience with that doctor. It's so nice to hear. I've been on antidepressants twice in my life, and myself came to the decision to come off them because, yeah, at no stage did a doctor ever even ask me, like, you know, how are you finding them? Do you think that you want to lower your dosage? It was just never a question. It was just, you're on medication, and that's it. So I love hearing that you did have that positive experience. And it's so true. You do need to go to different doctors.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, some of them might just write a prescription, and that's it. And that's their answer. And that's the easy thing. But there's definitely doctors out there that are really good. And yeah, you just need to find the right one.
When I was younger, actually, it's not something like I didn't think I'd be talking about it, but when I was like first in college, like obviously heightened anxiety and stuff like that, it's natural for someone quite young to be anxious, but I was kind of surprised by this feeling. I hadn't come across it before. I didn't really understand. Like sometimes it felt spaced, and it was battling with changing and going into college, and new friends, new place, and I went to a doctor and about it, and he said to me, well, this is in your family, so I'm going to give you tablets for anxiety. And at the time I just said, no, like I don't think I need tablets for this. I think it feels weird, but like I don't want to take medication for this. And I didn't. I said no to the medication, and I only, like, hearing your story now, it's kind of like I'm so glad to hear that I didn't go down the route of dealing with my anxiety through medication, because I could have been so easily hooked onto something that just kind of required yoga or just relaxation. I think maybe it's an Irish thing to just throw tablets at you to hope to solve the problem of something if you're not feeling mentally great.
I think it's a healthcare thing. I think, if you go to a physician or a doctor whose speciality isn't mental health, it's like, doctors aren't a one size fits all. They all have like different kind of specialities or professional interests or whatever. So if you go to your regular physician that doesn't have the background in it, they're occasionally the first line that they're going to do is probably prescribe you meds. Whereas I don't think, and especially in this city, I don't think it's that hard to find a doctor that, like, even Google reviews, you can just Google a doctor for mental health, and you'll find somebody pretty quickly. And like you said, if you don't like it, you move on to the next one. I think, especially at home, we're probably more inclined to do what the doctor says, or we were at one point in our life. Oh yeah, the doctor said, here's your pills, take them, and we'll all do it because we don't know any better. But I guess over here, I think we have but maybe you do still at home, but I'm only speaking from here. I think there are options. You can kind of find things, or there's different kind of pathways through services here that get you landed to places a bit quicker, a bit quicker than at home, I think. So.
Yeah, like the likes of having like your mental health professionals who can actually get through your MSP. So like things like that is very well paid over here, and those services are available. Whereas, like, I know for myself, like there was like a really good amount of like really tough years that it probably took me until I moved out to Canada to be able to kind of sort myself out. And like from doing, and it was all done privately. I had to have the funds to be able to do what I wanted to do or to look after myself. So like in that way, I think there's a system set up within Ireland that sometimes makes it really difficult for people to be able to go, okay, well, I need the medication, or is it the cheaper alternative to therapy, or is it the cheaper alternative to all of that? Whereas here you have that availability. And as well as that, I think sometimes when people go away, they become a little more able to chat to it. I don't know, I think my earphones have gone there, so I'm just going to take them out and chat. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay, I'll turn it off now. Sorry. Fingers are coming into the video there. Yeah, like I think a lot of the thing of it now is like it's really hard struggling with it sometimes, and having to do it privately almost makes it like, oh, it's a weight on you. Whereas like when you come over here, because there's such a great support within the Irish community over here, it's nearly like it becomes like much more normalized to be able to chat about it and like be able to share the experiences that you have with other people and be like, oh, well, I've done this, and you can do it through your MSP, and it's a lot easier to do it than it does seem at home.
Your depression, I think, Louise, you mentioned different things. Like obviously exercise is a great thing, but if you do have benefits, like there are other things like acupuncture, RMTs, even like naturopath, like getting your diet and dietitian, all of that kind of comes into like a holistic mental well-being, because it could be something like your diet isn't right or you're not exercising enough, because I know like half of us aren't, but it could be acupuncture, like pressure points, different things, because it's hard to kind of like blanket statement of like this is what you should do, because you made a great point, Louise, everybody is so different, and it is hard to be like I just want to do one thing, and some people may need a pill to help them through that, which is totally okay.
And on that as well, if your benefits do cover RMTs like massage therapists, physiotherapists, don't wait until something's wrong to go and do it. Like, go use them. Make it part of your normal kind of personal health routine. Like, I go for massage, I think, like once a month. If my legs are sore, I go more often. It's like, that's what they're there for, you know. It's like, they're great if you're in distress or if you're not feeling good. It's good to look after yourself. But it's no harm to look after yourself even when you're feeling great, you know, because it kind of gets you in the habit and you're prepared for it. And it's not a new thing if you aren't feeling so great or if you're doing it for whatever reason.
I couldn't agree more, because I've injured my shoulder and my neck. And when I went to acupuncture and or RMT, they were like, it's the way you're sitting. That's why I'm like looking really weird now, because I'm so sure. But it's the way you're sitting. So like, if you are working from home, make sure you have a good work from home set up, ergonomics, a good
ergonomics
chair.
Important.
I swear to God, it's so important. I am dumping my IKEA chair. It's not worth it, like seriously. But little things like that. But like what Dave said, it is preventative, but also like relaxing.